What's up guys, Austin here with Ride Rivian, and today was a huge day in the world of electric vehicles. Tesla announced their electric truck. In this video we're going to talk about the Cybertruck, and we're going to talk about how that kind of compares to what we know right now about the Rivian R1T truck. There's been a lot of news in the last probably couple years now about the Tesla truck and what it would look like and what kind of specs it would have. And now all of those questions are finally answered, and I guess it's safe to say that when Elon Musk said that this truck would look like it came straight out of Blade Runner, he wasn't kidding. So when he came on stage with the truck, I have to be honest, I thought it was a joke. I was kind of waiting for him to turn and say, just kidding, and bring out the real truck. But he wasn't kidding. This is actually what the truck looks like. Elon started by kind of talking about the history of trucks and how they've always looked the same and how there haven't really been any huge changes in the truck industry in a really long time. He talked about how trucks are one of the most popular vehicles being sold and how it's important for the future of sustainable energy to have a great truck that is an electric vehicle. So Elon Musk brings out the Cybertruck, and right away his main focus was just how durable it was and how nobody has seen anything that looks like it. And he's not wrong on most of that. So when he was doing a demo to show how durable the metal transparent windows are, it actually shattered the windows twice. Let's jump right into the specs of the Tesla Cybertruck. So there are three different versions. That first version is a single motor rear wheel drive, and it goes 0 to 60 in about 6.5 seconds, has a 250 mile range, and is rear wheel drive. I think that's kind of the killer for me. If you're going to be buying a truck for $40,000, I think, especially when it looks like a tank, you kind of want it to have all-wheel drive. It does have a towing capacity of about 7,500 pounds, and in terms of all the storage capacity and all that, it's the same as the other truck variants. With the mid-tier Tesla Cybertruck, we're looking at 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds, a range of 300 plus miles, and a towing capacity of 10,000 pounds. The all-wheel drive here, I think that kind of, in my mind, is going to end up being that kind of low-end version that people are picking instead of that rear-wheel drive version. And then they have their tri-motor all-wheel drive, which is the highest tier truck, and this one starts at just under $70,000. This one goes 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds, has a range of over 500 miles, and can tow up to 14,000 pounds. They have the autopilot standard, they've got the adaptive air suspension, and they did a little demo of that during the presentation, which was pretty cool. Let's compare the Tesla Cybertruck with what we know about the Rivian R1T at this point in time. I think it's going to be difficult to compare these trucks side by side, apples to apples, for a couple of different reasons. First, let's talk about the cosmetic differences between the Tesla Cybertruck and the Rivian R1T. When I first saw the Rivian R1T, my initial impression was that it looked like a truck, but had this kind of new spin, kind of a refresh and futuristic look to it. Now, when I compare that to the way I feel about the Tesla Cybertruck, I don't think it doesn't even come close in comparison to that futuristic kind of crazy vibe that the Tesla Cybertruck gives off. Now, I'm hoping that Cybertruck that Tesla released, that the look of it will grow on me. I'm not so sure it will, but I'll keep my fingers crossed because I would love for it to be a successful vehicle. So in terms of which vehicle I would feel more comfortable driving in public, I definitely would pick the Rivian R1T. It still has some really unique features that helps it kind of set itself apart from the other trucks out there, but it also still looks like a normal truck. The Tesla Cybertruck is just a little bit too much. The other thing that makes it difficult to compare these trucks side by side is the price. With the highest end Tesla Cybertruck starting at just under $70,000 and the lowest end Rivian R1T starting around that same price point, it's pretty obvious that the Tesla Cybertruck is going to outperform the R1T, at least that 105 kilowatt hour battery pack version of it, in just about every metric that you can test. With that being said, we don't know a whole lot about that 105 kilowatt hour battery pack and what types of specs that will have. So that's yet to be seen, and we'll definitely keep you up to date when we know more about it. But let's just for fun kind of compare the highest end Tesla Cybertruck with the highest end Rivian R1T truck. So let's look at the 180 kilowatt hour battery pack in the Rivian R1T and compare it to the Tesla Cybertruck that they say will have around a 250 kilowatt hour battery pack. And I know the prices are going to be pretty far off. I don't know exactly what the Rivian price tag is on that higher model right now. That's kind of yet to be determined. But in terms of specs, there are a lot of things that are pretty similar to each other. When you look at the 0 to 60 measurement between those two vehicles, they're just about the same. Tesla's coming in at 2.9 seconds and Rivian saying that theirs is about 3 seconds. The towing capacity is 11,000 pounds for the Rivian R1T, and for the Tesla, you're looking at 14,000 pounds. So the Tesla wins there. And for the max ground clearance, which Elon Musk made a really big deal about in the presentation, with the Tesla Cybertruck having the highest ground clearance of any truck that is available today, with that being 16 inches there. So 2 inches higher than what the Rivian will be able to do. In terms of the approach and departure angle, it's kind of a wash between the Tesla and the Rivian. Those are very similar. The other big difference between the two will be the range. So with the Rivian R1T and the 180 kilowatt hour battery pack, you're looking at over 400 miles, and then with the Tesla tri-motor all-wheel drive version of the Cybertruck, you're looking at over 500 miles. And I think the biggest area where that's going to make a difference is when you're actually towing something. When you're towing something, we know that the efficiency goes down by about half. So that can make a pretty big difference, especially if you're on a road trip trying to get somewhere and you have essentially a 200 mile range in the Rivian versus a 250 mile range in that Tesla. So not a huge difference, but maybe enough that it could sway you one way or the other. I think one thing that is interesting to notice is that when you look at the 100 kilowatt hour battery pack from the Rivian R1T and you compare that to the 250 kilowatt hour battery pack to the Tesla Cybertruck, and then you look at the range that's expected for each of those vehicles, I guess it's not really a surprise, but the Rivian R1T is definitely more efficient in the way that it uses that energy to get its mileage compared to the Tesla Cybertruck. Now the Tesla Cybertruck, my suspicion is that it's a lot heavier than the R1T, but once again, that's yet to be determined. So we'll have to kind of keep you up to date as we learn more about that. So one of the cool things about the Tesla Cybertruck is that it has an air compressor on board. It's got outlets in it. We know the Rivian also has outlets and that you can pump up tires from that as well. So really there are a lot of similarities between these two trucks, and I'm excited to kind of see how things pan out as these trucks actually come into the market and are being sold to customers. I think one of the coolest things that the Rivian truck has that they didn't talk about with the Tesla Cybertruck was the ability to wade through 3 feet of water in your truck. I think that's very cool. I'm excited to test that out when the truck does come out and really put it to the test and see what we can do, see what kind of streams we can go through, and maybe push the limits a little bit. So overall, I think that the announcement of the Cybertruck is going to have some pretty mixed reactions. I think the Tesla fanboys are going to be going crazy over it, saying it's the best thing that's ever happened, and how Elon nailed it, and that they're getting their pre-orders right now, and that's great. I'm happy for them. I really am excited to see that truck and see what it looks like in person, and then I think there's going to be a lot of the other people who see the truck and just think it looks just too out there for them, and might not be able to look past the cosmetics of it, even though some of the specs are pretty amazing. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please smack that subscribe button below, and that way you can be notified anytime we release new videos and content about electric vehicles, and specifically about Rivian. We do have a Rivian R1T on pre-order, and we're excited to get our hands on it so that we can test it out, kind of push it to the limits and see what it can do. and then obviously we'll compare it against the other electric vehicles that are out. Comment below, let me know what you think of the Tesla Cybertruck and the Rivian R1T. How will they compete against each other? Or are they really not competitors at all? Are they kind of for two different markets? I want to know what you guys think down below in the comments.